Las Vegas, Nevada, where the action continues now with the men's recurve team bronze medal match. And we'll switch to the men. And this match will feature Mexico against the Ukraine. The Mexican team onto the stage first, onto the platform, followed by the Ukrainian team. Mexico defeating our friends from Canada. Sorry about that, Crispin.
It's okay, they're a very strong team.
In the quarterfinals, 232 to 228. And then the Mexican team lost to Team USA in the semifinals, 236 to 231. So there's a good look at the Mexican side. Juan Rene Serrano, Luis Eduardo Velez, and Pedro Vivas Alcala, who is on your left right there. Pedro, perhaps their most experienced archer.
I would actually say it's Serrano.
You think Serrano?
Serrano was fourth at the 2008 Olympics. So
good point.
He's got he's got a lot of experience under his belt. He's been shooting for as long as I can remember. I remember shooting U.S. Nationals in 2002 as a cadet, and Serrano was already big stuff back then. So, I mean, and here for a team from Ukraine, the man on the left is
Victor Rubin.
Victor Rubin, the 2008 Olympic champion.
So you had the pleasure of competing against this week.
I shot an individual match against him, which was a really good experience for me. Fortunately, I won. I don't think he was very happy about that, but now he's going in for a medal, and I'm sitting here.
He's going for the bronze medal against the Ukrainian team, which consists of Victor Rubin, who we've mentioned already, Yuri Havelko, and Yaroslav Mokrinsky. The Ukrainians beating Italy in the quarterfinals by 4 arrows, 229 to 225, and then they lost to the Russian trio, 227 to 219. So this should be a good match between Mexico, which comes in ranked 12th in the world, and the Ukraine, which has achieved the lofty ranking of 8th in the world. And the Mexicans will start off first.
Brazo, ojos, más fuerte, brazo.
Luis Velez, that's a 9 points.
Poquito. Está bien.
Мы начинаем с правой мишени.
Brazo, ojos, tranquilo.
Vivas Alcala.
Sin movimiento. Está bien.
10 points for Alcala,
who took 9th at the Pan Am Games in October down in Mexico, was also 9th at the Olympic test event in London. So a 9 and a 10 to start the match off here in the recurve men's bronze medal match.
Serrano with a 9 just out.
So the 28-year-old Serrano with a 9 right there. So it's 9, 10, and 9, 28 points on the first 3 arrows. The Ukraine with its first shot.
Victor Rubin, 9 or 10, really close. I can't tell from here. They're calling it a 9 asterisk, so that's going to have to be inspected. Pavelko with a 10, that's definitely in.
Pavelko also looking for his first medal in international competition. And he gets himself off to a good start. And now Mokrinsky. Solid 9 right there. So we're basically back to where we started just moments ago.
Well, it could be not because of Ukraine's first shot. It could be a 9 or a 10.
That's true.
So it could be tied or a 1-point lead. But Velez on the line again.
Velez, 28 years old, ranked 42nd in the world.
8 points up high.
Now Alcala, who was strong on the World Cup archery circuit last summer.
9 points.
Tranquilo, tranquilo.
In fact, Alcala wound up finishing 6th at the World Cup finals in Istanbul. Now Serrano, who was ranked as high as 4th in the world back in 2007 and shows why right there.
A shot against Serrano, very I've shot against him a lot, and I know how strong he can be as a competitor. And when the pressure's really on, I know that he can really turn it up and shine. So see what happens for the rest of this match. But Victor Rubin, I know that he can really turn it on when he needs to. So I mean, there it is. It's a 10 right there.
And when you say strong, you mean strong mentally.
Strong mentally and physically.
Tú también estás sudando, por 8 arriba.
Havelko ranked 51st in the world.
10, молодец, хорошо.
He shoots a 10.
Славик, напиши переходите.
So an 8 or better,
Времени больше, чем достаточно.
and the Ukraine will take this first end.
Ningún problema.
9 справа.
9 points.
Ладно, давай.
So there's a 2-point lead right off the get-go.
Possibly a 3-point lead because
Possibly,
of that
you're
9
right.
asterisks, but we'll see what happens after official scoring has taken place.
So time for the officials to look things over and check everything out. We'll find out whether that is a 9 or a 10. As the team from Mexico looks on anxiously. And I'm sure the same thing is on their minds.
They're probably wondering who's got what score down there and how many points do we have to catch up, or
Are we down by 1? Are we down by 2?
exactly.
And in a sport like this, where it is such close and tight competition, every arrow counts. So there's that 9 asterisk you see on the very first arrow of the match for the team from the Ukraine. They will have either 57 or 58 points. And they look on anxiously as well.
Мы начинаем другим.
The target's so much smaller. Of course, you're so much closer, but they've made that target even smaller for you.
Yeah, the 10 ring here is 4 centimeters in diameter. So from 18 meters away, that can start to look pretty small. But again, you are that much closer, and if you can perform a good shot and make sure that your shot is complete, you finish your shot, you've come through the clicker smooth, then you're going to start really rolling out the 10s, which is what you need in this indoor sport.
So even with that smaller target, you're much closer to the target. And of course, obviously we're indoors in a climate controlled environment. You don't have all those other factors to worry about as well. That makes up a little bit for it, doesn't it?
A little bit, but still you have to be able to perform a good shot, or else you'll see 9s and 8s start to come out.
Which we have seen in the first 2 matches.
That can be detrimental to your score. So shooting a lot of 10s in the indoor circuit is obviously it's your goal for any type of archery, but it's so important in the indoor season because anybody is beatable.
So Mexico knows they've scored 55 out of a possible 60. The only question that remains right now is the scoring for the team from the Ukraine. And it appears to be a 10 now.
8, yep. So
they
it's
changed it to a 10.
Been scored and officially confirmed. It is a 2-point lead for the team from Ukraine. Team Mexico will be shooting first on target number 1.
So the team from Mexico down by 3 arrows after the first end. Not the start they had hoped for. Trailing 58 to 55. And a 9 to start off the second end for Mexico. Shot by Velez. Now Pedro Vivas Alcala with his first shot of the second end. Again, another left-hander. And that one's on the line, but a 10.
Still another strong guy here, Pedro is. And he's been really rolling up the ranks through these past couple of years. And veteran Serrano, see if he can shoot a 10.
Serrano won a silver medal at the 2006 Pan Am Games, bronze medal at the 2007 World Cup in Antalya. As you mentioned already, was 4th in Beijing in 2008 at the Summer Games. So a 9-10-9 for Mexico. The Ukraine will try to build on its 3-arrow lead. And that will help.
Definitely help Team Ukraine, and Victor Rubin showing why he is the team for the 2008 Olympic champion. although that was outdoors, this is indoors, but he has one of the more solid shots that is out there on the circuit.
He's able to translate it from outdoors to indoors, huh?
Exactly.
Havelko.
Молодец, хорошо, десяточка.
And Havelko apparently, well, they're going to give him a 10.
Спокойно. Делай свое дело.
To give him a 10, it looked like it was on the line.
That's what I
back
thought, Crispin.
here. But again, if it's on the line, then that means it's in. But if it's just out of the line, obviously, then he's not going to get that score.
Молодец,
No
Икс,
question about
хорошо.
that.
That's definitely a 10. Very good shot from Okrinski.
Okrinski. So 3 straight 10s. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye for the team from the Ukraine, which is keeping the pedal to the metal, as we say here in the States, and keeping the pressure on the team from Mexico.
Another 9 from Velez. A little high. I think he might just be a little tense and not as relaxed and as smooth on his shot that he usually is.
Щелкну на всякий случай.
Alcala will try to pick things up for Mexico.
Another 9. It's in the same hole as his shot from before. So whatever he's doing there, it's consistent.
He's grouping,
Yeah, exactly.
just not inside the
Not
10
inside.
ring.
He's grouping, but not in the right spot.
Fuerte,
I know that feeling.
brazo.
9 or 8. It's close to call from here, but the spotters have called it definitely a 9.
Hey, ya no más.
So the door wide open
Ya, puro 9.
for Victor Rubin and the rest of his team from the Ukraine.
10 центров, хорошо.
Another
Центр.
10 from Victor Rubin.
Going for the jugular.
I think they're going for a 60 here, so 2 more 10s will give them a 7-point unofficial lead,
Славик, только ты не зажимай.
which would be a really cool thing to see.
Встал четко, сразу стрелу вставил и поехал.
Sí se puede.
Havelko.
Todos.
Great
Arrow.
shot of his arrow.
60.
Coming through the clicker, which indicates
Хорошо,
when to fire
10,
the arrow.
молодец.
That's another
Быстрее
10.
выходи.
As soon as that click
Славик,
sounds
четко,
off
не
on the
суетись
bow,
только.
each archer has
Спокойно.
been trained to let go of the string, to basically relax their fingers.
10, хорошо.
And that's another 10. That looks like a 60 for Ukraine.
So perfection for the team from the Ukraine. And high fives, big smiles on their faces here in Las Vegas as midway through this match, they've taken a commanding lead.
60, 60.
But we have to remember that that 60 is unofficially a 60. We have to get the judges up there to score those arrows to make sure that that is in fact 6 10s in a row. Because it could change potentially, but we're going to see what happens after scoring.
Look of dejection on the faces of the Mexican competitors. They know the situation they've put themselves in through these first 2 ends. They were down by 2 after the first end, and now trail, if everything holds up, by 7 arrows. Unofficially, it's 118 to 111. And the team from the Ukraine has only missed a possible 2 points so far in the first 2 ends after shooting those 12 arrows.
And funny enough, these 2 points, even if they shoot 10s for the rest of the match, they still don't break the world record. The world record is 1 point down. It's 239 out of 240. So the Ukraine has already
Lost that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll have to settle for a bronze medal at the very least, if this holds up.
Well, it is the Ukraine that holds the world record, so I don't think that they're all that displeased.
Good look at the setting here at the South Point Hotel and Casino as we get set for the 3rd end of this match, this men's recurve team bronze medal match in Las Vegas. 7-arrow lead for the Ukraine, or a 7-arrow deficit if you're looking at it from the Mexican standpoint, but a 10 right there to start off the 3rd end by Velez.
Pedro, no mueve brazo, derecha.
It's a very good shot from Velez to open up this
Ojos y brazo,
3rd end.
Ahí deja ojos.
And we've seen it before. It can be contagious. Somebody starts to shoot well, and then
Cámbiale. Ya está
his
todos
teammates
arriba.
pick up on that. But a 9 right there by
Todas arriba, Todos
Alcala.
arriba. Brazo, fuerte, brazo.
And now Serrano.
10 or 9, too close to call. That'll have to be called by the judge.
10 y Ahí están líneas. 10 y 9.
6 straight 10s
Necesita
by the
pegar todo,
Ukrainians.
Pedro, ¿sí?
In that second end, we'll see if they can keep the streak going right here.
9 далеко, Витя. На 2 часа.
And that breaks the
Додерживание
streak.
его. Чуть-чуть поплыл.
Oh, too bad.
They have
What
a
can you
little
really
cushion,
say?
though.
Yeah, they've got an 8-point lead. Well, if they shoot 10s on this, they can have a potential 8-point lead. But I think they've given themselves a little bit of a buffer to shoot some 9s here. But
Девяточка слева, Юра.
just because they have given themselves a buffer doesn't mean that they have to actually use it. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see some 10s rolling out from Team Ukraine very soon.
You see it in a lot of sports. Teams will get up. And they pull back a little bit.
10, хорошо,
Well, there's a
молодец.
10.
Скорейше выходь, сейчас
So
зупиняется.
Makrinsky writes the ship right there
Huh?
for the Ukrainian team after they fired a couple of 9s on their first 2 arrows of this third end.
Через линию, да.
Ahí,
And
tranquilo.
it's back to Mexico now. Mexico coming in ranked 12th in the world.
10 or 9, too close to call again.
Может 9. Лучше бы
Good
9.
shot by Velez,
Pedro, no
who
mueve
was
brazo,
9th at the Olympic test event in London last fall, 9th at the Pan Am Games.
Ну, поманишь.
Alcala on the line, but a 10.
Todavía arriba 10.
Помолись. Спокойно, пацаны, до конца працюем.
Brazo, deja brazo.
Serrano, 10 or 9.
Давай, Витюша, давай.
I think it's a
До
10
конца
touching the line.
работай.
A little high, but
That finally brings a smile to his face. So potentially there's 4 10s in that end for the Mexican team. They'll have either 57 or 58 points when all is said and
10
done.
X, хорошо, в
10
центре.
points for Victor Rubin yet again.
Rubin relentless. The 31-year-old archer who was number 1 in the world back in 2010. Now his teammate Havelko.
10, хорошо. На
Another
12
10.
говорите. Возьми чуть-чуть, щелкни вверх. Чуть-чуть вверх, Юр.
Ellos
And
tirando bien,
Makrinsky,
nosotros tirando mal. Y por eso
who's been ranked as high as 74th in the world back in 2006.
9, твою
And he
мать.
finishes off that end with a 9. So 3 9s, 3 10s in that end for the Ukrainian team, which had that cushion of 7 arrows after the second end. And now unofficially maintain that 7-arrow lead, 146 to 139.
We're going to see with a couple arrow calls that potentially could be made here if Mexico indeed tied Ukraine over this end with 57 points.
Interestingly enough, these teams have not met in the last 5 years. Mexico was the bronze medalist in 2009 in the indoor championships. Serrano's the only athlete remaining from that team. But the Ukraine right now, the commanding lead, as the judges inspect the targets, inspect the arrows, make sure that the scoring is precise. And when you reach this level, you want to make sure there are no mistakes. So 57 points, it appears, unless we have a change here.
Well, we can see the judge again pulling the magnifying glass out and looking at one of those arrows on the target. Again, this could be the difference between 1 or 2 point, a tie on this end or a 1 point lead.
Not going to affect the overall match standing.
Not
Very
really.
much.
It's still, it could be a 7 point lead or it could be a 6 point lead. It will be determined after official scoring has completed.
Either way, you want to be in the shoes of the guys in the right there wearing the blue uniforms.
Exactly.
That's a little bit more comfortable position to be in right now. And obviously for the team from Mexico, they know the situation, they know the score. They've been to this rodeo before.
But for Team Ukraine, shooting that 60 in the second end definitely helped a whole bunch, because that can also kind of demoralize your competitors. But we'll see how strong Mexico is mentally.
Lalo, 60, eh?
That was what was impressive to me about the team from Japan in our previous match. Even though they fell behind,
No pasa
they had
nada.
great spirit and kept the pressure up.
Tranquilos.
Wound up losing by 5 to the team from the United States, but we'll see how strong the constitution is of the Mexican archers right here.
Puro 10.
Trailing by 7 as we go down the stretch in the fourth and final end here in Las Vegas
Brazo.
at the World Archery Indoor Championships. And a 9 for
Points.
Velez.
I don't think he's very happy with himself because he knows he can do better.
Pedro,
But,
ahí.
Let's see what
Fuerte, soltada. Ahí,
Pedro
deja
Vivas
brazo.
Alcala do.
10.
They're 10.
And Alcala does do better. Alcala captured a bronze medal at stage 4 in
brazo.
Shanghai last year.
Izquierda.
So he's used to the international stage, as is Serrano.
10.
And Serrano, dead center.
X.
Can't get any better than that.
That's got to be such a great feeling when you nail it that way.
And you know that it's going to be a good shot as soon as the string leaves your fingers and you get rewarded with seeing that arrow flying directly to the center of the target. It's a great feeling.
Victor Rubin knows it well
10X,
and
молодец.
experiences it again.
Хорошо.
What if he gets bored shooting 10s? 'Cause
Have
I know-
you asked him?
I know I don't get bored, but for a guy who shoots them as often as he does, however, I highly doubt it.
Спокойно, хорошо. Молодец, 10,
Another
браво,
10.
хорошо.
The
Хорошо.
Ukrainians dialed in here in this match with Mexico and the men's recurve team bronze medal competition. And Yaroslav Mokrinsky.
Молодец, 10, браво.
That is some
Хорошо,
shooting, my
Павел,
friend.
хорошо, молодчина.
I don't know what the Ukraine is eating for breakfast this morning, but they're definitely putting it down to the Mexicans with a 7-point lead unofficially, going into the final 3 arrows for this match.
No temblar. Ahí, tranquilos.
It's all about pride right now as Velez lines up his final shot of the day.
There he goes with the 10.
Así necesitaban.
Velez has been competing internationally for 9 years. This young man, Alcala, coming on the scene now, ranked 8th in the world,
Muy bien,
and
Pedrito.
he's finishing up
Ya no
strong.
necesita
It's
cambiar.
a 10 or a 9 too close to call, but we'll see what Serrano can pull out for his final shot. Still might not be enough to catch up to Team Ukraine because of the projected 7-point lead.
Ahí, brazo.
9 points will not do it though.
Спокойненько работай.
So unofficially, Mexico finishes with 57 points in this end. At 56 in the first end, 55 in the second end,
Девяточка, нормально,
57
хорошо.
unofficially here in the fourth
Близко,
end.
близко.
Now all Ukraine really has to do is put these last 2 arrows in the gold and guaranteed they're going to win this bronze medal. Won't be that hard of a feat for them to do.
Хорошо, 10, браво. Молодец.
Here's the first step.
Pavelko has done a nice job today for the Ukrainian team.
Спокойно, красиво, Слав
All
делает.
he
As
has
has
to do is-
Mokrinsky.
Mokrinsky just has to hit the target in the scoring rings and
It's over.
it's over.
Молодец, 10, браво.
Shut it down. It's over. They can go home now. And they'll go home with the bronze medal from the World Archery Indoor Championships here in Las Vegas. Very workmanlike performance by the Ukrainian team.
They've got a very good work ethic. They don't really get too overexcited while it's happening, and they can keep a straight face. And I guess a poker face here in Vegas. And I mean, to be able to focus on the task at hand and know what your role is as you shoot for this medal is a really important skill to have.
Well, it's such a different setting from what you've been in all week. You've been in the exhibition hall over there, and half of the hall is carpeted, half of it has cement. I know that affects the lighting. Then you come in here, and you're on basically a stage, shooting at the targets on another stage. And there's music playing, the lights are on. We always say that about athletes. It's what you do when the lights are on.
Yeah.
And the folks are watching, and there's people in the stands, and how you come through in these pressure moments. And the Ukrainian team did that, performed beautifully today.
Well, I have to admit, seeing the venue here for the first time, I was kind of feeling bad for not being able to shoot on this field, but
Слава
it's a
Богу.
very, very nice field to be able to shoot on.
Юра, пошли.
So Mexico 226 out of 240. For the Ukraine, 234 out of 240. They missed on 6 arrows. Not too bad, not too shabby.